Blues by Five. What a bunch of freaks. What a bunch of weirdos. And that music, what is that all about? That's kind of the impression I think that a lot of people had when we first came on the scene. I am very proud of what that band did, and I am also very proud of when that band did it, because you got to keep in mind it was 1965, and the music scene then was just sort of very early Beatles, very early Stones, and we just, we heard those electric guitars of our souls, as it were, and yes, we said yes to them. But the instruments we heard were being played by John Lee Hooker and Muddy Waters, and we were just absolutely entranced by what happened when you drop the needle on those lovely old records. A world was created, this sort of voodoo place of mystery and the unknown. I mean, in some cases, some of those early Robert Johnson records, what did we know about the history? We just knew that the music touched something really, really profound. It was full of unbelievable humanity. Robert Johnson conjured up images of Satan and Armageddon, and it was, boy, we were really, really touched by it, simply put. But we do have to go back to the origins of the band, and John Fisher is really, it was his vision. I think it was John Fisher's and his girlfriend, Paula Carr, his girlfriend at that time, Paula Carr. They used to come and eat lunch at our house because they knew my brother. They went to high school, Mount Douglas High School. And along the way, at lunch, I would sometimes hear these records, like, folky records, these esoteric blues things, and I just couldn't believe my ears that human beings could make sounds that were a window into a universal humanity. That, I know that sounds so profound and everything, but how else can you say it? I mean, it was almost scary when you put your first when we first heard the Robert Johnson record. That was owned by Bill Hubbard, by the way, and I hope he's there today. I hope he's around somewhere. And I still have your copy, Bill. I mean, it was almost a little disarming to hear music that raw, that powerful. So we definitely said yes to it, and through. Like I said, John Fisher and a few sort of hipper friends who were older than I was introduced to this extraordinary music and absolutely fell in love with it. And the band developed from there. Of course, we met Ed Wright, who is this incredibly gifted human being, sang like an angel. And oh, by the way, the recordings that are on the RCMP site, those few recordings that exist, I believe they were made exactly 10 minutes after we got our instruments for the first time. So they're a little rough, but we of course developed it into something more interesting. Some really interesting people came through the band. Danny Haggerty. Danny's written 4 books, and he's obviously no longer with us, tragically. The first lineup included had Dave Ashton on guitar. I don't know what he's up to, but we eventually got Ron Flatman and Richard Moore, and that's kind of how I see Blues by Five. When I think of the band, I think of those 5 people. Yeah, that was the original band, and but there were other versions of the band that were quite different and made some lovely music. There was the Reed Hudson version of the band, which was the version that played with the Doors, that and played that legendary gig at the UVic Frosh Dance, 1967. There was the Derek Walsh, Dennis Jeans, Bob Jarrett version of the band that made some really lovely music, and technically, some of that music was some of that, those versions of the band were pretty darn good. Different though than the newness of that bunch of weirdos who were trying to teach themselves how to play this extraordinary music from in 1965 and 66. Anyway, thank you so much, Glenn, and I guess there was people voting and stuff. Thank you so much for remembering that band, even if it's just like 4 people who remember some of those sounds we made or came to a gig or whatever. It's just really touching that it is remembered, and it is remembered. And Glenn, it just can't be said too many times how we all appreciate this. And I'm saying we, because I read the site, and I think this sentiment is held by a great many people. What you've done to jog our memories and to get people together, and it's just a fabulous thing you've done. So I don't know whether there's any jamming going on today with original members or non-original members, whatever. But I hope there's a bit of playing going on. And hello to you all. Darn it, I wish I could be there. But enjoy. Thanks a lot for this honor, Glenn and the folk. And have a great day. Blues by 5. Yeah.